Hey guys, Christoph the Polish Geek here, and I have a very controversial review, guys. Let me make it clear, I love the movie. The movie was fantastic and meant a lot to me, personally. But it's a very controversial review because it's one of those few movies that's made by a very controversial news source, The Daily Wire. And let me make it clear, I try to avoid politics on this channel as much as possible. Politics in general very much gets on my nerves, and I try to completely avoid politics, both Polish and American or international for that matter. Yeah, I generally try to avoid politics, whether it's as I said, it's Polish or American. I mean, if it will be in the movie, I'm going to call it out, but generally, as I said, I try to avoid politics. It's even hard to describe my political views. If I was an American, I would consider probably because I'm very much a centrist, because it's very, very hard to really define my political views. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not going to say anything more about my political views. And as for the Daily Wire, all I'm going to say is that there are times where I think they're completely stupid and completely out of mind, but then there are times where I do in fact agree with them, but I'm not gonna get into any of the details. That's all you know about my politics. I'm very much a centrist, and it's hard to really define where I lie. So yeah, but I'm going to talk about this movie by the Daily Wire, Shut In, because I loved it so much. And how did I watch it? Well, there is actually one movie theater here close to me, actually, that shows very rare movies. Yes, there is one movie theater that shows very rare movies where you can't really find anywhere else. They don't show mainstream movies, really. They generally show movies that you can't find anywhere. Sometimes they can show they have early Netflix showings, sometimes Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, for example, they had. And they sometimes occasionally show very old movies that are very hard to find, or Polish movies. And they also recently happened to have this movie by Daily Wire, Shut In. Although the movie is from literally more than a year ago, it was from the beginning of 2022. For some reason, they've had it very recently in that theater. So I decided to go and see it, and I already said I loved the movie, and it became almost very personal to me. Because, as I said, and I will tell you why I loved it so much and what it meant to me. From what I know, the movie was very much advertised as a horror, but I think it's actually much more of a thriller. And a very good thriller at that. It's about a young woman named Jessica who is preparing to sell a house of her grandmother who died, while also raising her two very little children, a little daughter and an infant son. And that's what's so personal to me, because my sister has two children, a 4-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son, and they mean the world to me. And honestly, the relationship of Jessica and her two children so much reminds me of my sister and her kids. And as I already said, they mean the world to me. My sister's kids, my niece and nephew, they mean everything to me. So yes, that is among possibly even the main reason why this movie means so much to me and why it became so important to me. The way the relationship between Jessica and her children is just phenomenal, and their chemistry is so well done. And I already have repeated, as I said, it very, very much reminds me of my sister and her two kids. So that already raises how much this movie became very important to me. And now I'm going to get more into the story. Then Jessica's ex-drug addicted boyfriend comes to the picture, and that's when the danger starts, actually. Especially that he also brings a pedophile with him. And actors who play in this movie are very unknown to me. I can't say I knew any of the actors, but I thought they've done a pretty good job in whom they played. I wouldn't necessarily call their performance outstanding, but again, sometimes a good performance is enough, especially in a movie like that. And I think that the actors done their job, and that's all that matters to me here. And then when Jessica's ex-boyfriend, I believe his name was Rob, and the pedophile, they together lock Jessica in the room, and then they leave the house. Though the pedophile comes back later, but we'll get to it later. And then most of the movie takes place with Jessica locked inside the closet, actually, not the room, the closet. And she's actually telling her little daughter what to do. She's telling her where the food is and also gives her instructions of how to take care of her baby brother. And this actually is, and then the pedophile comes back, and Jessica obviously fears for her kids. And as you're watching this movie, you're completely on the edge of your seat all the time. Like, you're wondering what will happen to the Jessica, what will happen to the little kids especially. Yeah, like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. And I really had a good time watching it. So, yeah, in addition to the movie being personal to me, as I said, I was engaged through and through, and I was really very much on the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen next. And in all honesty, even though it's a very small scale movie, that's actually one of the biggest appeals to me about the movie. I love that rather than exploring like many places, the movie is very much literally confined to a one small house in the middle of the American Midwest, and even large portion of it is just inside the closet. And I think it works wonderfully. And the final thing I loved about the movie is that it's so realistic. Like, it's a thriller, but it's different than most horror movies, because a thriller, this is something very much could happen in real life, which makes it in some ways disturbing. Like, the villains, the abusive boyfriend and the pedophile, like literally, they are like very much realistic people you could totally meet in real life, which makes it really creepy and makes them much more scarier than many of the mainstream Hollywood villains, like Marvel villains, Star Wars villains. Yeah, these guys are way scarier because, as I already said, those are very much the type of people you could meet in real life. And though the ending of the movie is actually pretty positive, but overall, Shut In is a very great movie and very, very important to me. Say what you will about the Daily Wire. If you love them, okay. If you hate them, totally great too. Like, I already said in the beginning how I feel. Like, as I said, they are very controversial, but again, doesn't change the fact that this movie they made is actually amazing, at least to me. And as I said, I didn't even watch on the Daily Wire. Like, I generally avoid politics. I watched this movie in a movie theater that I was lucky enough was showing it. And honestly, I have to say, if it ever is available on DVD or Blu-ray, I'm totally getting it because it's totally worth it. And another thing, shame I only saw it now, because when I did my top 10 best movies of 2022, this would totally be in the top 3. And honestly, I'm very, very tempted to redo my best movies of 2022 list, because this movie totally deserves to be in the top 3. I don't know if I will remake my 2022 best movies list, but know this one thing: if I do, this movie will totally be in the top 3. Don't know which spot, but totally be there, because it truly deserves it. And as I said, it's so important to me. Okay guys, thank you for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe this channel, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!